Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Becky Setcher. I hope you're all doing well. It's nice to be back once again. If this is the first time you're watching my video, please do not forget to subscribe. So today's topic is going to be how to maintain your UK nursing and midwifery registration, or managing or looking after your NMC registration. So this video is for all overseas nurses from Africa, Caribbean, the Philippines, wherever in the world, who have come to the UK and have completed their OSCE and they are fully registered nurses. And also, if you're thinking of coming at some point, it's important for you to know. So it is hard work, or it does take a lot of hard work to get your UK NMC registration. You have to go through all the exams. You have to do both practical and theory exams in order to get here. And when you get here, you have to make sure when you get the PIN, you look after it. If you do not maintain it, if you do not take care of it, the same way you got it, it could be taken away from you. So I'm going to talk you through how you can maintain your NMC nursing registration in the UK. So let's start going. So first of all, if you do not look after your PIN and it lapses, it would be, you would have to reapply to get readmitted onto the NMC registration, and it can take you about 2 to 6 weeks before you get your registration back. And it is illegal for you to work with your NMC registration which has lapsed. Now, how do we maintain our registration in the UK as nurses? The easiest way is to make sure that you create your NMC online registration account. So if you have this account, it does help you to actually update your registration. It allows you to update your details as well. So for example, if you've moved address, you will be able to update it online. It also helps you to maintain your direct debit, because most of us pay by direct debit. So one way of maintaining our registration is by paying annual fees. So every year, as a nurse or registered nurse in the UK, you have to pay £120 to NMC in order to maintain your registration. Make sure you pay exactly by the time you were supposed to have paid. I would suggest pay it about 2 weeks before. If you like, you can do it at least by a week before the date. The easiest way where you would not forget about the payment is to set up direct debit payment. So the NMC have made it easy, whereby you can pay your annual registration fee either 3 monthly, which is 4 times in a year, or twice a year if you want to, or if you want to pay it at once, you can do that. So if you set up a direct debit, before they take the money, they will let you know. So if you haven't got money in your account, you can make sure you've made some money available. So it's easy. If you do that, you would not, your registration will not lapse, because you have set up direct debit and they will calculate how they will take the money. So it's very important to do that. So £120 every year to maintain your UK NMC registration. So remember, it's important to do that. If you don't pay, it would automatically lapse. And as I said, you have to reapply to get readmitted, and you cannot work as a nurse during that period. So the other way of maintaining our registration is through revalidation. So revalidation, according to the NMC, is just to help the nurses to continually develop and reflect on their practice. And we are required to revalidate every 3 years. Remember this, you pay annual fee, or every year you pay £120 to maintain your registration. And every 3 years from the date you have registered on the NMC, you have to revalidate. And you can submit your revalidation documents. You can do that online. So we are required to reflect on the role of the NMC code in our practice, and to demonstrate that we are living the standards that have been set out in the NMC code. So I'm going to show you a photo. So this is the NMC code. If you haven't got it, look online. It is there online. There are a lot of resources on the NMC website that would help you to revalidate. So I'm going to talk you through some of the requirements, just basic information. Get the rest online when you read. I would add a link as well. So one of the ways you are required, some of the requirements include showing that you have practiced as a nurse in your role as a registered nurse for 450 hours. So you require 450 practice hours over the 3 years. And looking at that, if you're a full-time worker, if you work 37.5 hours a week, times 4 is 150 hours. So every month you're actually doing 150 hours. 2 months would be equal to 300 hours. So hours. So 150 times 3 equals 450 hours. So that should be fine, isn't it? So if you're a full-time worker, you will definitely get that. That is over 3 years. For people who possess 2 different NMC registration, for example, general nursing and midwifery, or general nursing and or health visiting, or any other specialist public health role, they would need to provide 900 hours to show that they are practicing as they are. Another requirement is you should show that you have done about 35 hours of CPD, including 20 hours, which is participatory learning. So 35 hours, including the participatory hours or learning over 3 years. It's easy. So any study day you have gone, any participatory learning you have done should be enough over that. And then another one is you have to show 5, or you need to show evidence of 5 piece of practice related feedback. So this feedback doesn't necessarily need to be written. It can be verbal, it could be by card, email, anything. So what does that mean is if your manager or your colleagues have showed appreciation or acknowledgement of something good you have done, it could be criticism, it could be an incident, you can, show those things. I'll tell you how to keep those details later. If somebody has given you a thank you card, things like that, or you have done above and beyond and somebody has nominated you for something, you've been voted the nurse of the month, or things like that, you have to keep those. And then you're going to be showing as well, or you're required to have done 5 written reflective accounts as well. And these reflective accounts could be on the piece of practice related feedback you have had, or it could be based on any learning you have done, any incident, anything that has happened. You can write a reflective account, 5 of them. It does not need to be academic writing, so don't worry about it. I'll tell you a bit about that as well. And then you will need to do a reflective discussion with a qualified NMC registered person. You have to show health and character declaration. You have to do that. It's just a signature, just to make sure that you haven't had any fitness to practice issues, no criminal issues going on, things like that. And then professional indemnity as well, arrangement, just to show there is in place. If you're employed by a trust or any employer, they do have this professional indemnity arrangements already, and you would have a confirmation done by your manager or a registered or NMC registrant. Now, as I said, you need to know that the reflective account does not need to be academic. It doesn't need to be lengthy. You don't need to do things like references and things like that. All you need to do is simply, you need to note down what you have learned about whatever you're reflecting on, how it improved your practice in relation to the NMC codes. So prioritize and all those things. So you need to have a copy of the NMC code. You have to remember, so my advice to you or my tips to you is that remember to get a file. So I have got a file. This is my file. So anything I do, if I receive a practice related feedback, I just print it or I write it down and I put it in my file. If I've gone it for a training day and I've got a certificate, I file it in the file. As you go along, you can start writing your reflection. It's better to do it when it happens. If you're a last minute person, you can keep all those things, and then when the time is getting closer, you sit down and write your reflection. But I would suggest just do it as you go along. It is very important to keep all those evidence so that you can show when the time comes, because when you're going to be doing the discussion with your the final discussion to submit, you need to show all this evidence as well. So it is very important to do that. Now, my only advice as well as to how to maintain and look after your registration is, remember, communication is important. Documentation is also very important. Whatever you do, make sure you write it as you go as a nurse. Do not forget and say, I'll do it tomorrow, because if it is not written, it is not done. So you have to remember. Now, another thing is about honesty. What you haven't done, don't say you have done it, because it will come and bite you. One thing to bear in mind is that there is NMC Fitness to Practice, which is, and I was looking at a research, is it a research? Yes, which shows that people, foreign trained nurses, especially Black and minority nurses, are most at risk of being reported to the NMC. Also, BME nurses are at higher risk of being reported by their employers to the NMC for fitness to practice cases. I'm going to add a link so you can have a read of that. This is a research in 2017, but I don't think it has changed that much. So not only nurses, so nurses and midwives trained in Africa were more likely to be referred to the NMC by their employers. Bear in mind, it's not just the employers. Your colleagues can report you to the NMC. Patients can report you. Family members can report you. This is very serious, so just bear that in mind. Some people was looking at some of the fitness to practice records on the NMC website. It's in the public domain. It's online. You can read it. Just type into Google NMC Fitness to Practice. If it is this year, May, June, or whenever you want to look at, it is there with the names of nurses as well. Some people have submitted forged document that they were nurses, and actually it was fake. So be careful if you're doing something like that. People were taken off the register because of lack of competence. Some people because of misconduct. So be very careful. One thing I would say, as once again, is documentation. Document as you go. Write it down. Write the date. If it's something has happened and you think something can come out of this, write it down. What it is. Just make sure. Look after yourself. Look after your NMC registration. It is difficult to get it, and when you get it, it is important for you to look after it. I'm not going to say people are looking out for you, but people do watch. For those of you who work in people's homes, be careful, because in this is one of the countries in the world where there is the highest number of CCTV cameras. Some families, because of concerns or previous experiences, they have installed CCTV cameras in their homes. So if you're going to be looking after their family member, they want to know you're doing the right thing. So if those of you who go out to people's homes to provide care, you must be careful. Just do the right thing. Be honest in everything you do. If you're honest and you do the right thing, nobody can get you. So this is very important. So revalidation, we do that 3 yearly. You have to pay your annual registration fee every year, £120 as a nurse. So bear that in mind. I still have the letter I got the first time I got registered in 2003. And those days, this is how our PIN number looks like. Yeah, our PIN card looks like. I don't know how it looks like now. It comes with a letter. And so take good care of yourself, my friend nurses. If you do have any questions, feel free to get to me. Make a comment. If you want to email me, I'm happy for you to do that, and I will get back to you. I normally reply to comments and things in the evening after work when I have time, so I would not ignore anybody. So remember to like, subscribe, and share as well. If you're a nurse out there, or you're thinking of coming and you've got anything you'd like me to talk about, feel free to drop that in a comment section and I would get back to you. Look after yourselves. I'll see you again next week. Take care and bye-bye.